the weekly recommendation. I'll go with Marriage. A couple of weeks ago, I was discussing Terrifier 3, and and in that discussion, I was talking about modern slashers. And when I was pulling ideas of modern slashers, I brought up Victor Crowley and Jeepers Creepers. This is my mea culpa, because I have no idea how, I have no idea why, but I forgot to include probably the biggest slasher of the last 20 years, Jigsaw. Jigsaw from the Saw series. What a dope I am. I love the original Saw movie. It is one of my all-time favorite horror films, and it didn't even pop into my head. Hey, Jigsaw. The reason it didn't pop into my head is I was going through my physical library and I don't have the Blu-ray or 4K UHD of Saw. So it just slipped my mind. I have it digitally, but not the physical copy. So when going through all the discs, I didn't see it. That's really why. But my recommendation this week is to go watch the original Saw movie, because it is a really great movie. I have not seen it in a couple of years, but I think it totally holds up as of my last rewatch. Yes, some of the acting is a little bit corny, but it was such a fresh and unique take on horror, on slashers at the time. I loved how it still had this whodunit aspect, but it was also kind of gruesome. By today's standards, it's probably kind of tame. I think Hostel was even more grotesque and violent than Saw, because the big culmination or the big climax of Saw is the saw and parts of bodies being removed, but they don't even show that happening. In Hostel, it is much more graphic with its violence. So I kind of think Saw got a little bit of an unfair rap, being called as a completely grotesque torture porn movie, because I don't think it was, at least the first one, I don't think the first one really was over-the-top violent. It did imply or infer a lot of violence, but a lot of it wasn't. Maybe I'm misremembering, but I don't remember there being a tremendous amount of blood and gore being actively shown on screen. The aftermath, sure, that was included. But I would highly recommend it because it does have that whodunit aspect. It does have unique kills, I suppose. It has a bit of that blood and gore and special effects if you like that. And it has incredible tension that is being built. It has one of my favorite, not genres of movies, but one of my favorite traits of movies, where a lot of the film takes place in a single room. And that means the story and the characters and the dialogue have to drive the entire thing. A great example of that is 12 Angry Men. There are no changes in the set pieces to drive the story forward. The only way to drive the story forward is through actual character development and dialogue. And they do a lot of that in the Saw movie, in the original Saw movie, where a lot of it takes place in a single room. Yes, a little bit corny, maybe a bit dated. I think it's great, and it just had its 20th anniversary, so that is my weekly recommendation this week. Saw, from 2004, I believe it was.